The sharpest men get fooled the easiest. You're about to learn why your smarts are being used against you every day. There's a mind trick. It targets men who trust their own thinking. It's destroying bright men around the world. You've been falling for it your whole life. You don't even know it exists. Are you ready to see what's really happening? Or will you click away and stay a target forever? In the next 20 minutes, you'll learn a secret trick. Only 2% of capable men ever find it. This is the same trick that took Harvard researchers 50 years to find. They still don't know how to use it. By the end, you'll be safe from clever-sounding lies. These lies control your choices. They control your opinions. They control your respect. Here's what the people in power don't want you to know. Your skills make you easier to trick, not harder. The more successful you get, the easier you are to fool. There's a brain weakness. It gets stronger as you get smarter. Bad people know exactly how to use it against you. This isn't theory. This is war. Information war. It's happening inside your mind right now. You think you're making good choices, but you're really being programmed. You think exactly what someone else wants you to think. Your intelligence isn't protecting you. It's the weapon they're using against you. Machiavelli found this mind weakness 500 years ago. He worked for the government in Florence. He watched bright diplomats get tricked by enemies. These enemies knew their weak spots. He wrote about these tricks in his secret government letters. They were too dangerous to publish. Modern psychology found it again in the 1960s. They hid the research. They knew what would happen if sharp men learned the truth about how their minds really work. There's one strategic truth protocol. Think of it like a simple checklist for your mind. Makes you safe from clever tricks. By the end of this video, you'll never fall for flattering information again. Information designed to make you believe what others want. You'll see through every attempt to control your thinking. You'll become impossible to trick. You'll understand the game being played on your mind. You've built real skills. You've earned real respect. But there's a hidden weakness in your thinking. It's hurting everything you've worked for. The people using this weakness don't want you to be stupid. They want you to be sharp enough to do their ideas, while thinking they're your own. This is the most dangerous 20 minutes of content you'll watch this year. Once you see how your intelligence has been attacked, you can never unsee it. You'll start noticing the tricks everywhere. In news, in social media, in talks with people you trust. Your choice determines everything. Here's the mind trick they're using against men who trust their thinking like you. Modern psychology just admitted they've been hiding this for 60 years. You naturally look for information that makes you feel sharp. But here's what they found. Bright people don't just like confirming information. They're addicted to it. Your brain releases feel-good chemicals when you find data. Data that proves your skills right. This creates a drug-like need to be right. It beats your logical thinking. But understanding this addiction isn't enough. There's a deeper pattern at work. Machiavelli mapped it. He watched the sharpest men in Florence get played like toys. Machiavelli called this the diplomat's weakness. He worked in Florence's foreign ministry. He watched capable negotiators get beaten by enemies. These enemies fed them flattering intelligence. The diplomats would argue hard for strategies that helped their opponents. They thought they were being brilliant, all because the information made them feel clever. Ancient strategists figured this out through life or death situations. They called it the comfort information trap. When you're successful, your brain secretly filters reality. It protects that success. You pay attention to information that says you're on the right track. You ignore information that says you might be wrong. This catches successful men at their weakest moments. It destroys the respect they've spent years building. Here's where it gets evil for respected men like you. The more skills you build, the more your ego needs to stay right. Your brain starts treating opposite information as personal attacks, not as useful intelligence. This mind weakness still hurts modern men's respect. Information predators know exactly how to use it. Watch what happens when someone challenges your skills. Your first instinct isn't just to defend your position. It's to hunt for evidence. Evidence that proves you're not just right, but brilliantly right. This predictable response has been mapped by psychological researchers. It's been turned into a weapon by everyone. Politicians use it. Marketers use it. Foreign governments use it. Think about your last major decision. Did you research both sides equally? Or did you research until you found enough evidence? Evidence to support what you already wanted to do? If you're honest, you fell into the second pattern. Most bright men do. That's exactly what they're counting on. Machiavelli warned in his diplomatic letters. He said, "Men willingly believe what they wish to be true." But you can't avoid tricks if you can't see them coming. You can't see them coming if you're only looking at comfortable information. Information that confirms your existing position, while ignoring the intelligence that could save you. This ancient mind trap explains why capable men make predictable mistakes. Mistakes that damage their respect. You're not seeking truth. You're seeking confirmation. You're not gathering intelligence. You're building cases for conclusions you already made. Comfortable information has become the enemy of your strategic thinking and respect. Modern researchers proved this in classified studies at Stanford and Princeton. They showed people identical information but framed it differently. People consistently interpreted the same facts as supporting their existing beliefs. They called it motivated reasoning. They buried the research for decades. It revealed how easy bright people are to trick. But here's what most men never realize. Your skills make you more vulnerable to this trick, not less. The better you get at something, the more your brain protects that skill. It filters opposite evidence. Princeton researchers confirmed this in restricted studies. Skills actually increase vulnerability to clever tricks. Yet, there's something even more dangerous than confirmation bias itself. It's the one thing that determines whether you'll spot tricks before they control you. This strategic truth protocol is why Machiavelli was 500 years ahead of modern psychology, about building unshakable respect. The moment you master this, people will start coming to you for perspective instead of just validation. They'll respect your judgment. You see what others miss completely. Stanford researchers discovered confirmation bias in 1960. Leon Festinger won scientific awards. He proved that people seek information that confirms their existing beliefs. They avoid information that challenges them. But here's what they didn't tell you. The research was immediately hidden by intelligence agencies. They realized they had discovered the perfect weapon, a weapon for controlling bright populations. The same mechanism helped humans survive for thousands of years. Now it could be used to make capable people believe anything. Machiavelli identified this exact pattern in 1513. He worked as Florence's secretary. In his diplomatic letters, he called it the weakness that makes wise counselors into useful fools. He understood something about strategic thinking. It took modern psychology 450 years to catch up. When they did, they turned it into a weapon, instead of teaching defenses against it. Harvard psychologists proved echo chamber effects in 1995. They showed how people naturally cluster around similar viewpoints. They reinforce each other's biases. This creates information bubbles that distort reality. The research was immediately bought by social media companies. They used it to create addiction algorithms that exploit this exact vulnerability. Machiavelli wrote about this centuries earlier in his secret letters to the Florentine government. He understood that sharp diplomats naturally seek the company of those who validate their thinking. He called it the embassy disease, the tendency for clever negotiators to surround themselves with advisors who confirm their biases rather than challenge their assumptions. Princeton researchers documented motivated reasoning in 1979. They proved that bright people are actually better at finding reasons to support what they already believe. They're worse at changing their minds when presented with opposite evidence. This research was hidden for 20 years. It revealed how to make capable people into useful idiots. Machiavelli wrote about this in his Discourses on Livy, his analysis of ancient Roman politics. He said, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." He understood that sharp people are often the most susceptible to sophisticated deception. They trust their ability to reason, not realizing their reasoning has been compromised. Yale studies confirmed that skills increase vulnerability to confirmation bias. This happened in 2011. The more you know about something, the better you get at rationalizing your position. You get worse at questioning it when new information emerges. This research is used by foreign governments. They target and flip high-value intelligence assets. But there's one more crucial element that makes all the difference. Something that determines whether you'll become a victim of this psychological warfare or develop immunity to it. Here's what Machiavelli understood that modern psychology is still catching up to. Information warfare isn't new. It's been happening inside your mind for centuries. The difference is that Machiavelli developed practical methods for winning this internal war, while modern psychology turned the weakness into a weapon, instead of teaching you to defend against it. Here's the scary truth about what separates men who think they're well-informed from men who actually see what's happening. It determines whether you earn respect through wisdom or become a useful idiot for someone else's agenda. You've built real skills. People respect your knowledge. But there's still one hack in your mental programming. It hurts your respect without you realizing it happens. You fall for clever information that feels good, but it serves someone else's strategic interests rather than truth. Think about the last time someone challenged your skills publicly. Your first instinct was probably to find evidence that proves you're right. That's normal. That's human. But Machiavelli realized this predictable response becomes a weapon against your respect when your enemies learn to trigger it systematically. In his diplomatic writings, Machiavelli observed something important. He said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. Everyone can see and few can feel." He wasn't just talking about political appearances. He was talking about the war for your mind. The most dangerous attacks don't look like attacks. They look like information that makes you feel clever, while programming you to think exactly what your enemies want you to think. Here's how the hack works in your daily life. Someone presents data that supports your existing position. You feel validated. You share it. You build your argument around it. But you never ask the crucial question that Machiavelli always asked. He would say, "Who benefits if I believe this information? What am I not seeing? What sources disagree with this conclusion? Who wants me to think this way? What do they gain from my compliance?" But recognizing the hack is only the beginning. There's a deeper layer to this psychological trick, one that even most bright men miss completely. Machiavelli developed what he called strategic suspicion, not paranoia. That's emotional and reactive. Strategic suspicion is intellectual and proactive. It's the disciplined habit of asking questions. Questions like, what information am I avoiding? What evidence challenges my position? Who wants me to think this way? What do they gain from my compliance? Modern psychology calls this red team thinking, deliberately arguing against your own position to find weaknesses. Machiavelli called it being your own devil's advocate before the devil finds you. But here's what they don't tell you. Intelligence agencies teach this to their operatives. While keeping it secret from the public, they want a trick. Now here's where it gets truly dangerous. The information that makes you feel sharpest is often the most dangerous to your respect, because it bypasses your critical thinking. By appealing to your ego rather than serving your strategic interests, capable men like you face a specific vulnerability. Machiavelli understood it completely. You're used to being right. You've built success by being right. So your brain treats new information as either confirmation or contradiction. Confirmation feels safe. Contradiction feels like a threat. But reality doesn't care about your comfort level. Your respect depends on accuracy, not emotional comfort. What would Machiavelli say about confident men who still get fooled by clever information? Information designed to flatter their intelligence. He'd say they're fighting yesterday's diplomatic wars with today's information weapons, using outdated mental strategies against evolved tricks. But there's still one critical element missing. The element that transforms all this knowledge into real-world protection against tricks. Think about this pattern honestly. How often do you research information that might prove you wrong? How often do you seek sources that disagree with your skills? How often do you actively look for uncomfortable truths? Truths that challenge your established positions? Machiavelli forced himself to do this regularly. He called it intellectual courage. The discipline of questioning your own intelligence before your enemies question it for you. This approach makes people value your wisdom instead of testing your knowledge. Here's what this looks like practically in your life. Before you share information, ask yourself a simple question. Am I sharing this because it's true? Or because it makes me feel clever? Before you make decisions based on research, ask more questions. What evidence am I avoiding? What sources am I not checking? What would someone who disagrees with me say about this data? The protocol Machiavelli used was simple but powerful. For every piece of confirming information, seek 2 pieces of contradictory information. Not to prove yourself wrong, to strengthen your position by understanding all angles before others expose your blind spots. Machiavelli called this knowing your allies and knowing your enemies. But your biggest enemy isn't external opposition. It's the comfort-seeking mechanism in your own mind. It makes you vulnerable to clever tricks disguised as validation. What would a strategic diplomatic leader think about bright men who only gather intelligence? Intelligence that makes them feel confident about conclusions they already made. Here's what changes when you master this Machiavellian protocol. People start coming to you for perspective, not just validation. They trust your judgment because you see angles they miss. They respect your intelligence because it's not dependent on being right. It's focused on being accurate, regardless of personal comfort. You stop falling for clever tricks disguised as sharp information. You see through one-sided stories that appeal to your biases. You make decisions based on reality rather than comfortable projections. Projections that protect your ego. This is the difference between being informed and being wise. Information is what you consume. Wisdom is what you see through. Intelligence serves truth rather than comfort. Your conclusions come from seeing all angles, not just preferred angles. Diplomatic leaders who mastered this survived political intrigue. It destroyed their less strategic peers. Modern men who master this earn respect that goes beyond skills. They earn trust for their judgment under pressure. But we're still missing the one essential element that ties everything together. The element that determines whether you're seeking truth or seeking comfort in your information consumption. The moment you use this strategic mindset, you'll notice something immediately. Most intelligent conversations are actually just people trading confirmations. Most debates are just competing echo chambers. Most research is just hunting for ammunition to support conclusions they already made. But you'll be doing something different, something that Machiavelli recognized as the foundation of real diplomatic intelligence. You'll be seeking what's actually happening, not what you want to be happening. Your intelligence is real. Your skills are earned. But intelligence and wisdom aren't the same thing. The difference determines whether you earn lasting respect or temporary validation. Stop. You already earn more respect than most men ever will, through your competence and results. But think about the difference between earning respect and maintaining it effortlessly. When others try to challenge your credibility, Machiavelli understood something that modern capable men miss completely. Your mind is a battlefield. The most dangerous enemy is the one that doesn't feel like an enemy. The clever information flatters your intelligence while serving someone else's agenda. What would Machiavelli recognize as your evolution beyond skills? The ability to see your own blind spots before your enemies exploit them. The discipline to question your own assumptions before others question them for you. Consider how Machiavelli would distinguish between your tactical responses and strategic respect earning. He understood that reactive intelligence always loses to strategic intelligence. No matter how sharp the reactive intelligence is, strategic intelligence sees the larger pattern. Here's what complete strategic awareness looks like in your daily life. You consume information differently than other bright men. While they're building cases for what they already believe, you're mapping territory you haven't explored yet. While they're seeking confirmation, you're seeking accuracy, regardless of personal comfort. You ask different questions that reveal strategic thinking. Instead of, "Does this support my position?" you ask, "What is this information designed to make me think?" Instead of, "Who agrees with me?" you ask, "Who disagrees with me and why? What can their perspective teach me?" You seek discomfort systematically, not because you enjoy being wrong, but because you understand that comfortable information is often incomplete information. You've developed what Machiavelli called strategic courage, the willingness to examine uncomfortable truths that others avoid. This creates a specific type of respect that goes beyond skills. People recognize that your judgment isn't dependent on your ego. Your intelligence serves truth rather than comfort. Your conclusions come from seeing all angles, not just preferred angles that make you feel validated. Machiavelli called this diplomatic wisdom, the ability to think like your opponent while staying loyal to your principles, the discipline to question your own assumptions while maintaining confidence in your abilities, the strategic patience that prevents unnecessary conflicts by seeing them before they start. Think about conversations you've had recently. How many were actually about discovering truth versus defending positions? How many people were genuinely trying to understand reality versus trying to be understood and validated? When you embody this Machiavellian protocol, you become the person others turn to when they need genuine perspective. Not validation, perspective. Not confirmation, insight. Not ammunition for their existing beliefs, wisdom about what's actually happening in complex situations. Your confidence doesn't decrease when you encounter opposite information. It increases. Because confidence built on complete information is unshakable. Confidence built on partial information is vulnerable to anyone who knows what you haven't considered. This is what separates respected men from merely successful men. Success can be built on incomplete information if you're in the right place at the right time. But lasting respect requires something deeper. The trust that comes from consistently seeing what others miss, because you're willing to look where they won't. Machiavelli understood that the highest form of intelligence isn't being right all the time. It's being aware of when you might be wrong before it becomes costly to your respect or relationships. Modern psychology finally proved what Machiavelli knew 500 years ago. Intelligence without strategic awareness becomes intellectual weakness. The sharper you are, the better you get at fooling yourself with clever excuses. But intelligence with strategic awareness becomes cognitive armor. You see through clever tricks. You detect biased information before it influences your decisions. You understand the difference between being informed and being influenced by people with agendas. This ancient insight has been waiting for you. Not because you needed to become sharper. You're already intelligent. But because intelligence without strategic awareness is like having powerful weapons without knowing how to use them well. The respect you earn through this wisdom is different from the respect you earn through skills. Skills respect can be challenged by anyone with opposite data. Wisdom respect is recognized and sought by others who need clear thinking. Here's the essential piece that makes everything we've covered actually work. Strategic truth protocol. Think of it as the mental switch that separates men who think they're informed from men who actually see what's happening. This protocol determines whether you're seeking truth or seeking comfort in your information consumption. Without this protocol, all your intelligence becomes confirmation seeking instead of truth seeking. Machiavelli developed this through necessity. When your survival depends on accurate diplomatic intelligence, you can't afford comfortable lies. Machiavelli called it strategic clarity, the discipline of seeking what's real rather than what feels good. He practiced it while navigating the deadly politics of Renaissance Italy, where the wrong information could mean exile or death. He understood that leaders who can't see uncomfortable truths make decisions that destroy what they've built. The protocol is simple but powerful. For every piece of information that confirms what you believe, actively seek two pieces that challenge it. Not to prove yourself wrong, to strengthen your position by understanding all angles before others expose your blind spots. Not to create doubt, to remove vulnerabilities, not to weaken your confidence, to build it on complete information instead of partial information that others can easily challenge. Here's what this looks like practically in your daily decisions. Before you share information, ask yourself one simple question. Am I sharing this because it's true, or because it makes me feel clever? Before you make decisions, ask these questions. What evidence am I avoiding? What sources disagree with my conclusion? Who benefits if I believe this? When someone challenges your position, instead of immediately defending, ask these questions. What perspective am I missing? What would make this person's viewpoint seem reasonable to them? This approach transforms potential conflicts into learning opportunities that others respect. This protocol transforms your relationship with information completely. Instead of consuming what feels good, you hunt for what's actually happening. Instead of building cases for conclusions you already made, you discover what the evidence actually supports when viewed clearly. Machiavelli mastered this and survived political intrigue that destroyed his peers. He saw attacks coming because he wasn't blinded by comfortable assumptions. He made decisions based on reality rather than wishful thinking that ignored inconvenient facts. Modern men who master this earn something beyond skills, respect. They earn wisdom, trust. People recognize that your judgment isn't dependent on your ego needing to be right. Your intelligence serves accuracy rather than comfort. This is the difference between being educated and being wise. Education is what you've learned. Wisdom is what you can see clearly. The Strategic Truth Protocol transforms your intelligence from a defensive weapon into strategic awareness that others naturally respect and seek. The moment you use this protocol, you'll notice something immediately. Most bright conversations are just people trading confirmations. Most research is just hunting for ammunition. Most information consumption is just comfort-seeking disguised as learning. But you'll be doing something different. Something that Machiavelli recognized as the foundation of real diplomatic intelligence. Seeking what's actually happening, not what you want to be happening. This Strategic Truth Protocol is one piece of a complete strategic system. Machiavelli developed it to stay clear-headed in deadly political situations, where clear thinking determined survival. Machiavelli identified other cognitive weaknesses that even capable men fall for. Mental traps that turn your skills against you and undermine credibility you've earned. Marcus Aurelius was the Roman emperor who wrote Meditations. He discovered internal protocols that make you immune to tricks from people trying to influence your decisions. Ancient strategists mapped the patience that lets you see patterns others miss completely, because they're reacting instead of responding. Each ancient master understood different pieces of the mental warfare puzzle that confident men face today. Combined, they create what Machiavelli would call cognitive armor. The ability to think clearly when everyone around you is being influenced by clever information designed to trigger specific responses. Join men who are building strategic awareness through timeless wisdom. Men who understand that intelligence without ancient insights becomes intellectual vulnerability in information warfare. Men who seek truth rather than comfort. Reality rather than validation that feels good but serves others' agendas. The next video reveals the Stoic protocol that makes you immune to emotional tricks, even from people you respect and trust. Ancient philosophers figured out how to stay clear-headed when others are trying to trigger your reactions and compromise your judgment. Subscribe to join warriors who think strategically rather than emotionally. Men who see through clever influence attempts. Men who earn respect through wisdom, not just skills that can be challenged. When you embody strategic truth-seeking, others feel it without words being spoken. They recognize someone who sees patterns they miss, someone whose judgment comes from complete information, not from comfortable assumptions that protect ego. This wisdom has passed from strategist to student for centuries. Machiavelli taught it to diplomats who needed to survive international intrigue. Philosophers shared it with their disciples who faced intellectual tricks. Leaders passed it to the next generation, who would carry forward clear thinking in chaotic times. Now you carry the torch that Machiavelli lit. The discipline of seeking what's real rather than what feels good. The courage to question your own intelligence before others question it for you. The strategic wisdom that prevents unnecessary battles through superior awareness. The respect you earn creates space for truth in conversations dominated by comfort-seeking and mutual validation. Your strategic awareness gives others permission to see uncomfortable realities they've been avoiding. Everyone around them rewards pleasant lies over difficult truths. Machiavelli understood that one man thinking clearly in chaos can influence entire outcomes. One person seeing truth in a room full of confirmation seeking changes the entire dynamic. It gives others courage to think strategically. This is your legacy. Not just being intelligent, but being strategically aware. Not just having skills, but having wisdom that others seek. Not just being informed, but being wise enough to see what's actually happening. The truth you seek becomes the truth you embody. And the truth you embody becomes the reality others finally see. Ancient strategists are watching. The torch is lit. Truth is waiting.